Hi there, everyone. Grada Robertson here, and today I want to discuss the topic, the very, very important topic of how you can increase your self-love and how to step out of the frequency of self-hate, self-criticism, and self-judgment and into the frequency of self-love. And as you notice, I'm sitting here with my hand on my chest. And by doing this, keeping my hand here on my chest, it allows my brain and my heart center to come into alignment. And thankfully, our heart center is very, very more powerful than the brain center. So that allows the brain frequency to tune up to the frequency of the heart, and it changes the chemistry in my body to a more uplifting, heartfelt frequency for the next 6 hours. So if you were tuning in to the video today, into Tuesday's talk with Grada, please also put 1 or 2 hands on your heart center. 1 hand will do the trick. And it's so important to focus on self-love and to teach you small steps of how you can increase the capacity to love yourself more. Because, for instance, if your container that holds self-love is like tiny little bit like this, then that means you're not able to experience much love towards yourself, and that usually means that your body can't heal very well, your relationships don't work, your money doesn't flow, and every part of your body and your life is being held back. So just let me get back to the beginning, because when you were born as a baby, you were born, of course, with the ability to love yourself. That was a natural thing, because babies are born, they believe they are the sun of the universe, they are the star, they are the most special thing that's ever been created. And that's true. All of that is true. And then trauma happens. A lot of the time trauma happens to us before we're able to speak. So in other words, trauma happened before, in our non-verbal period, right? So before we were able to speak, that usually is from birth to maybe 15 months before the child starts to put words together into sentences, sometimes earlier. So for the whole first year, you could say we are non-verbal. So it's trauma that creates disconnect between us and self-love, the frequency of self-love, and that also creates a connection between us and the frequency or the energy of self-hatred and self-criticism and self-judgment, to the point where as adults, we have between 60 and 70,000 negative thoughts a day that bombard us, our nervous system, and probably shorten our lifespan when you think about it. So to get to the root cause of healing our capacity for self-love, we have to go back into the garden and pull out all those plants of self-hatred, right? And self-hatred, like I just said before, they originated from our earliest infancy, from our babyhood, when our primary caretaker wasn't in tune with us. And I mean, the reality is, even if you have the best mom and the best caretaker, there are times that your caretaker isn't in tune with your true needs. So because at those times we weren't verbal, we can't literally address those trauma with words. We have to release those traumas through touch. That's why I'm touching my heart center now, to connect with the nervous system, because they are buried into the nervous system. And to heal yourself, of course, you have to include the nervous system. That's the highway that we have to go through. So again, you can't heal a lot of trauma through talking, so you also can't always pull out the plant of self-hatred through talking. So how do we do that? By touching our bodies. So putting your hand here is really one of the most powerful ways that research has shown to put you into a frequency of unconditional love and healing, by putting your hand here. When my clients and students work with me, I also show them different areas of the body that are portals to your soul as well, where you can easily pull out the seeds and the plants of self-hatred, and again begin to grow plants of self-love. So in the end, your life starts to work for you in an easy way, like you're in alignment and in a state of flow. Another way that sometimes if you do become conscious of negative thoughts or you're criticizing yourself, you can also hug yourself like this and wrap your arms up and down. So this is like giving your body what it didn't get as a baby when the trauma, whether that was a small or a big trauma, in your nervous system. All trauma is trauma. You can release it like this. So even as you're listening to me today, just give this a go. Like even having your arms crossed like this helps your left and right brain center to talk to each other, to release trauma. And then if you feel tension here, just give it some extra nurturing. So this is also a wonderful way to access the non-verbal parts of your nervous system where traumas are stored. All right, so that's out of the way, and for the sake of the video, I'm just going to keep my hand here, and so when your body tunes into mine, your mirror neurons also connect with mine and really receive some healing. So self-love is crucial, because without self-love, your body can't heal, right? Nothing can heal, and you get stuck in overwhelming feelings of maybe addictions, overwork, needing to prove yourself, getting triggered easily, and so on. And you're not alone in this. In fact, most of the population, most humans, actually have not even a notion, they're not aware that they are in a state of self-hatred most of the time. It's not till you become aware that you realize, oh, I'm not happy about how I feel, I'm always feeling like this, I want to do something about it. And then you can learn to address and create some awareness and acceptance around it. So I'm going to give you some steps. I've got them written down as usual, and then you can read it after you watch the video. So first one is to have awareness. So acknowledging that some of your thoughts you're thinking are not coming from the frequency of self-love. And then instead of fighting that thought, fighting the feeling, or resisting it, we know that what you resist persists, so that's not the answer. Usually what I say when I become aware I'm catching onto the wrong frequency or feeling negative, I just say, I love myself for feeling whatever I'm feeling. I love myself for hating myself. I love myself for not loving myself unconditionally. I love myself for feeling tired. I love myself for feeling crabby. I love myself for feeling like a failure. I love myself for feeling stupid. Whatever you're feeling, just say, I love myself for. And if you keep this up long enough, and I've been doing this for years, you literally start to build some equity in your bank of self-love. So it goes from way, way, way down. You might suddenly actually start to accumulate some wealth in there. And then you notice the difference in your body, like everything becomes more joyful and lighter. So I love myself for being a perfectionist. I love myself for whatever is showing up, for feeling sick. I love myself for catching the flu, and so on. Wherever you feel like you're attacking yourself, you shower it with love, and you give your body the words that it needs, and you also put your hands on your body, or you practice this, which is also really powerful. Right, so then you can, so that is actually catching what you're doing and turning it around and showering yourself with kindness and compassion. So that is actually point 1, 2, and 3 on my form. And then it's really, really important that you become aware of who you surround yourself by. So there is a saying that you become like the 5 people that you hang out with most. So whoever those 5 people are in your life, you become like that person. So it's really, really important that if you are up-leveling yourself and you're putting a lot of effort in changing yourself and creating more fulfillment, and you're on a spiritual path or personal development path, that that you become very selective with who is in your life, who is in your energy field. And if those people are not supporting you, or they're not giving you uplifting energy, you have to move away from those people. That's really, really important. The energy that you surround yourself by becomes you. Doesn't matter how much you shield yourself, it still becomes you. So that was point 4. Point 5 is, of course, developing a very strong sense of gratitude. So in our world, in our universe today, self-love or love, the energy of love and the energy of gratitude are almost like twins, right? They're two wings of the same bird. So it's not always possible to step into the frequency of love, but it is possible for us to choose to feel grateful and to practice gratitude. So we can literally focus on something that we're grateful for, and it is even more powerful if you write it down, and it's even more powerful if you write it down with your non-dominant hand, because that's breaking through all the habits that are in your body, because a subconscious mind is literally where all our habits and behaviors are stuck. And to introduce a new behavior or a new mindset, a mindset shift, it's important that you do something different, right? So if you use your non-dominant hand, let's say for me that would be my left hand, and I wrote down 10 things I'm grateful for, that would really shift something massively, like break through many limitations in my body. And especially if you do it all the time, because your subconscious mind is a being of repetitiveness, so we have to repeat the same thing over. So I'm going to encourage you to give that a crack, right? And it can be as simple as, today I am grateful that I have water coming out of my tap, right? Many people in today's world don't have access to water, or they have to walk for 10 kilometers to carry dirty water back home. So just become aware of all the things that are just awesome in your life, and then also about your body. Like today I'm so grateful for my health. I'm grateful that I'm breathing. I'm grateful that my skin feels nice and soft, and so on. Alright, so this is creating a wealth mindset and healing the traumas in your body. And then the next one is like super difficult. That is like setting boundaries. So people who can't say no, and I'm one of those people, this has probably been my hardest ongoing lesson. Pete and I are the same, very similar in this, so we have to support ourselves in this. It's like that we are not strong on clear boundaries. So we have been working on this for years and years and years, that we can say no, and that the no is like a heartfelt no. Because if somebody invades your boundaries, or and you want to please, and you say no, but actually you're still in people pleasing mode, those people are going to feel that shakiness inside of you, and so they're going to keep pushing through till your no becomes a yes. So if you don't prioritize your boundaries and learning how to say no, you will always attract a lot of drama and chaos in your life. And self-love, it's hard, right? It would be like you've just got some beautiful flowers growing in your garden, and they are like little plants of self-love, and suddenly somebody comes along and dumps a pile of gravel on the top, and you have to start all over again. So prioritizing that is really, really important to overcome the fear of putting yourself first. It might feel selfish. Your body might be screaming out that you're selfish, and you can just sit with that feeling. You don't have to change it. But prioritizing yourself is so important. I'll just see if I can demonstrate, but I can't. But okay, let's imagine this is you, right? And you put yourself first. You're like a nice upright telegraph pole, right? And there's nothing selfish about it. And so this is like your partner or your friend or a co-worker. And so the co-worker starts to lean in on you, And then if your no or your boundaries aren't strong, or you're a people pleaser, you also start to lean. And now you're both on a lean. And that also means if this is a telegraph pole with wires, the wires between the two of you, which is the communication, is now really, really slack and unclear, right? It's like tedious. Whereas if you straighten yourself and make yourself the priority and put your own needs first, that also means your connection to source, your soul needs, what's important for you, then the wires, the communication wires, are already a little bit better, and then inspires the person next to you to do the same thing. And then you have clarity, you can have a good life, both of you can move forward, and you can inspire people around you to do the same. It's also like being accountable for your actions and all that. So treating yourself with compassion when you first start to say no is also really, really important. And I mean, it's going to be messy for a while, because when you're a little toddler, you know, you don't learn to walk straight, you fall over all the time. So things are messy, but that's okay, because you're progressing, you're making progress. So of course, meditation is really important. So download, you can listen, there are so many apps today, and you just choose one that focuses on the topic of self-love, and by meditating, that bypasses your conscious mind, so it goes into the subconscious mind, where all the seeds of self-hatred, you know, are, where the little plants need to be pulled out. Also, again, seeking support of people that you can trust is incredibly important. That you have at least one person in your life who has your back. If you have one person, you're incredibly lucky, almost, but that would be the absolute minimum. And if you have two people in your life who have your back, then you are probably one of the most privileged people in the world. And then, of course, self-love also means self-forgiveness. So forgiveness is a big hurdle for people, and it's actually a process that can't be forced, right? So initially, when you start to increase your ability for self-love, and you're stepping into the frequency of self-love, you're going to come up against all these things, like being overly critical of yourself, shame will come up, guilt will come up, and then lack of forgiveness. Or there will be things that you feel like, I will never be able to forgive that, right? And that is a big hurdle, an obstacle on your journey towards self-love. So I have found a little shortcut that works very well for me. I just say, I forgive myself for not forgiving myself. And so your body hears the word forgiveness twice, and so I just keep saying, I forgive myself for not feeling forgiving. I forgive myself for not forgiving. I forgive myself for not forgiving myself. And the interesting part here is that the subconscious mind never gets the meaning of not. So your subconscious mind hears, I forgive myself for forgiving myself. And so it kind of gets tricked into forgiveness, which is where you want to be. And it's okay to use tricks on yourself, because we're tricking ourselves all day long, whether you're aware of it or not, because our conscious mind is the greatest trickster in the whole world. So we can just turn the tables around and keep the ball in our court. So if you are struggling with lack of forgiveness, and you have a lot of resentment in your body towards a person you feel like they hurt you, or they exploited you, or whatever, they mistreated you, or they abused you, and it's blocking your ability to feel love, you can work with this sentence. I love myself for not forgiving. I forgive myself for not forgiving. I love myself for not having forgiveness in my heart. I love myself for not loving myself, unconditionally. Ultimately, of course, unconditional love is the end game here. But of course, I've never come across anyone yet who is able to have unconditional love all of the time, right? But probably the closest times that you feel that flood of unconditional love is when your baby is born. Speaking as a mom, because I've got 6 babies or 6 children, that feeling will always stays the same, as you know. So that level of love, and then you can turn it around and project it, towards your own being, towards your own self, towards your own body, towards the cells of your body, towards every part of your body. You can say that to yourself when you look in the mirror, and just be very, very kind and compassionate to yourself, because it's going to bring up reactions in you and trauma. And like I said before, sometimes those traumas have been in your body since you were born, since before you were non-verbal, not able to talk. And so it won't make any sense to you why you feel the way you feel a lot of the time. But just shower yourself with compassion and gratitude and the energy of forgiveness and the energy of self-love. So I hope this makes sense to you. This is something it's been my prime focus now, probably for over 10 years, when I realized, hang on a minute, the love that I feel for everyone is not self-love, right? Because Peter and I love people so much. I love everyone, and I love animals. People are my passion. I love my friends. I pretty much always find it easy to love everyone. So I always thought, wow, my self-love is so good, because as Christians, Peter and I used to be in a very strict Christian church. The church used to dictate and say, love thy neighbor as thyself. You've probably heard of that. And so because I love everyone, I thought, wow, I must be loving myself so much. But the truth was, I wasn't loving myself at all. All my attention was always outward, and I had to do a lot of work to get myself back in a safe place. And I wrote about it in one of my books, my second book, which is called The Underbelly, that really describes the journey of where I went from a place of self-hatred and self-loathing to a place of self-love. And by the way, that book is available on Amazon. So there is a lot of confusion around this topic, right? So I like talking about it. Let me know if you find this interesting, and it's so, so important for healing. We literally can't heal unless we heal our capacity to love ourselves. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, and hope you have a really good week. And let me know if you struggle with this or if you have any questions. And of course, as an energetic healer, I can help you overcome any blockages or hurdles that you may come across. So please reach out to me if you're stuck. And my friendly team is here to support you. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Have a great week. Big love from me. Bye.